A blissful day to everyone. I am Therese Feliciano, Supervising Personnel Specialist of the Human Resource Policies and Standards Office of the Civil Service Commission, and welcome to the discussion on post-pandemic for government workers, flexible work arrangement in line with the 2022 Government Online Career Fair. I know every one of us has encountered trials. I think recently, one of the most daunting is the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic, isn't it? And this warranted change and flexibility in the way we live and work. The traditional work arrangement in the Philippine government prior to the pandemic is working in the office from 8 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon for 5 days a week. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, stay-at-home orders were issued. This definitely affected public service delivery. And to counter this, what we're put in the spotlight, we have technology and work from home. The Civil Service Commission, in collaboration with various stakeholders, was able to come up with policies on flexible work arrangements in the government, which aim to institutionalize appropriate work arrangements for government officials and employees, ensuring work-life balance. As I have mentioned, institutionalize, meaning this shall be permanent fixture in the government. Isn't it amazing to have flexibility in our work? So, what are the flexible work arrangements available in the government sector? First is flexi-place. We actually have three types of flexi-place work arrangement. First one is work from home, which is a work arrangement wherein the government officials and employees work at home or their residence. Who among you want to be working in the comforts of your home? Well, if you are one of those who like that, then you can count me in. Also, we have the work from satellite office. It is a work arrangement where the government officials or employees, instead of reporting to their office, report for work at their agency's satellite office near their place of residence, like the central, regional, or field office. For example, if you're stranded in Boracay, then you may request to work from another fixed place. However, I would like to emphasize that this shall only be applicable when you are in the Philippines. If you go abroad and you tell your immediate superior that you would like to work in South Korea or Singapore, assuring him that you will be able to deliver the outputs, sorry to say, but that cannot be. Yes, we have the flexibility, but we are still bound by some parameters, especially so that we are providing services to the public. I think among the three types that I have mentioned, work from home is the most well-known and most used flexi-place arrangement. So, I would like to provide you with some of its pros and cons. For the advantages, I would like to give you the acrostic flexible, since we are already talking about flexibility. F is flexibility in work. Of course, when you work from home, you have some degree of flexibility. Like you can work while sitting on your bed and listening to the music. When you are at home, you can play any song, be it mellow or upbeat. I think there are those who want upbeat songs because they become energized and work in rhythm with the song that they listen to. That's the diversity we have, and this work from home arrangement can actually be of help to make us more productive. L is for less expenses. Why? When you go to the office, you will need to travel. You will have to pay fare or pay for your gas, and we know for a fact that oil prices nowadays are insanely high. Also, when your home is miles away from your work and your route is confronted with heavy traffic, it would be less hassle if you perform your duties and functions at home. Having to travel for long periods of time is tiring, in that instead of you having the full energy to work, you already feel exhausted early in the morning. E is for enhanced technical skills. If you are working from home, it is a must that you know how to use the computer, how to navigate the internet, and how to send and receive emails. You would need to push yourself to learn these things, and I think acquiring these new skills would be beneficial, especially that we are in the digital era. You watch those movies showing children of workaholic parents become rebellious because they are looking for their parents' presence. They feel unloved even if their parents provide them with the things they need. Indeed, that is something we would not like to see among us civil servants, and of course, you, my dear future co-civil servants. I is increased productivity. Why? People tend to have situations or time that make them more productive. Example, An employee may be more productive in the afternoon because his creative juices flow better during the time rather than in the morning. Next advantage is balance in work and life. There are employees who feel less stressed when they work at home rather than when they are in the office. How about you? Would you feel more stressed working in the office or in your home? L, less office distraction. There are times when phone calls do not stop, and this leads to having you not being able to do your other work because you have to attend to the phone-in clients. Also, if you have an office mate who is so passionate giving you the latest news, sometimes you find it distracting and that you fail to focus on what you are doing. E, environment that is comfortable. Do you remember people posting how they created their work from home setup in their bedrooms in the social media? Isn't it amazing to have autonomy to decorate your work area to your heart's desire? That is one thing that spells out the difference when you work in the office, especially when there is an internal policy in the agency that there should be nothing on top of your desks except for those that are related to the tasks you will be performing for the day. What if the picture of your husband or your wife makes you feel inspired to work, but your office instructed you to remove such? When you are at home and there are kids, instead of focusing on work, you tend to them. I is interpersonal skills may be affected. Since most of the time you just face your computer at home, it's less likely that you talk with other people outside your home. However, in the government, supervisors are encouraged to have kamustahan sessions and coaching and mentoring online, so I think this is not much of a problem. S is skills in technology. It's a must. I think it would be difficult adapting to the new normal way of working without technical skills. Thus, those who are not tech savvy will have a hard time. Have you heard of others saying, "Oh, I don't want to work anymore because I really cannot cope up with this computer thingy. I will just retire from work." This is pretty much evident among those who are not so young because they are not much into computers. But, of course, there are also those who are not that young but were able to adapt. T is for thin line between office work and housework. For example, you were tasked to prepare budget plan and forecast wherein you really have to focus. However, here comes your kid trying to cling to you. So, it really is challenging to create a distinct separation between your work and personal life. R is risk of overworking. There are times when we tend to work late at night and even at dawn just to finish our tasks. Sometimes we do not notice what time it is already. A is a stressful situation due to poor internet connectivity. We all know that the internet speed in the Philippines lags behind other countries and really is stressful when you are working and you need to browse the internet, yet what you keep seeing is the word loading. This definitely affects our productivity. C is for costs of home office. Just to have some structure when working from home, we come up with a workstation in our respective homes whereby we buy table and chair that would be comfortable for working. Also, since you use the computer in your work, there will be electricity and internet expenses. T, technological resources are must-haves. But goodness is, agencies were enjoined to provide its government officials and employees appropriate ICT resources. So those are the pros and cons of work from home arrangement. Can you think of anything else aside those that I have mentioned? Again, for Flexi-place, we have 3 types: work from home, work from satellite office, and work from another fixed place. Second flexible work arrangement that we have next to Flexi-place is the compressed work week. Compressed work week refers to a work arrangement whereby the 40 hours work week for 5 days of the government officials or employees is compressed to 4 days or less as may be applicable. Thus, instead of the employees going to their respective offices for 5 days, they would only do such for 4 days or less provided they complete the provision of services to the public for 40 hours a week. Do you think 4-day work week is suited to you? Well, you can go say to La Union for 3 days without having to file for leave of absence because you've got 3 free days for that matter. However, agency heads must ensure that public service delivery is not prejudiced for the whole work week. For example, if employee A works from Monday to Thursday, employee B should work from Tuesday to Friday. In that way, the public will be assured of responsive services from Monday to Friday even if the agency is on compressed work week. Third on the list is a skeleton workforce. This refers to a work arrangement where a minimum number of government officials or employees is required to man the office to render service when full staffing is not possible. This is one flexible work arrangement implemented during the COVID-19 pandemic surge, wherein a certain percentage of the employees, depending on the alert level status, was required to physically report in the office. Now, if the same occurs again, wherein there is an emergence of infectious diseases, then our agencies can readily resort to this option because as I have mentioned a while ago, that these flexible work arrangements have already been institutionalized. Fourth is work shifting. Work shifting shall apply to agencies mandated by law to operate 24-hour continuous service delivery on a daily basis. Example, we have the hospital, clinic medical services, broadcast news services, and other analogous services. It shall also apply to occupational groups that provide security and safety to agency personnel and or property. We can never tell what time will a person get sick, become injured, or have an emergency situation. Thus, it is a must that agencies providing health or medical services are open to serve the public 24/7. You cannot say, hey, you cannot be sick beyond 5 p.m. because government office hours is until 5 p.m. only. It is not, oh, I feel like going to the office at 11 a.m. because I slept at 3 a.m. as I binge watched my favorite Korean drama and just extend my work hours to complete the required 8 hours a day. Well, that cannot be. Why? There are parameters that we have to follow. First, the flexi-time has to be in the internal policy of the agency. Actually, this is applicable not only to flexi-time but to other flexible work arrangements as well. Second, it has to be agreed upon by the employee and his or her supervisor. And third, it shall start not earlier than 7 a.m. and end not later than 7 p.m. If we take on consideration the situation I mentioned wherein the employee wanted to go to the office at 11 in the morning and expect to complete the 8 hours a day, this would mean that he needs to work until 8 p.m., which is not compliant with the guidelines of flexible work arrangement. Thus, flexi-time shall not be based on the mere whim of the employee. Second possible situation is when an employee goes to the office at 9 a.m. then leaves at 6 p.m. Will this be compliant with the policies on flexible work arrangement? The answer is yes, provided the parameters I mentioned are met. So we have discussed the 5 flexible work arrangements: flexi-place, compressed work week, skeleton workforce, work shifting, and flexi-time. Question is, would it be possible to have a combination of the flexible work arrangements I have mentioned? Definitely, yes. We can have a combination of compressed work week and work from home. A minimum of 6 hours to be spent in the office or field, and the remaining hours in work from home for 4 days. So those are the options that the agencies may choose from depending on their mandate and functions, and of course, the situation and capability of their employees. Have you thought of a flexible work arrangement most suited to you? Well, in that case, I encourage you to chat with government agencies during the Government Online Career Fair to know more about these arrangements and apply to available jobs. And I hope that I see you working also for the government. Be one of us and become agile and future-ready servant heroes.